seen the Fantastic Four and it sucks. Honest? Yeah, I have.
In my dreams, I was going to say, if you believe that, you'll believe anything. Right, so, have I seen the Fantastic Four yet? No, only a privileged few people have seen that movie. I used to be on the whole film junket circuit, where I would have seen films like that. I used to see films early. I used to do some film reviews. I used to get into these invites. Not so much anymore. So I'm not a shill because I haven't seen them any earlier than you have. And if I did see a film and I really liked it and I raved about it, I don't have a direct line to any film studio to give me some of that magic pot of gold. So consider me, like you guys, just a regular guy who loves stories, lives for stories. I'm the Aris-Osula storyteller, story smeller. If you know, you know. But when it comes to comic book movies, I am invested. Listen, I'm a big Marvel fan, make mine Marvel. But I also am a fan of DC. I like me some DC Universe stuff. My first movies growing up were the DC movies Superman in 78, Batman in the late 80s. So I'm in a world, I'm of a generation where we could like both. Who knew? But in regards to this whole situation of the Fantastic Four movie, you probably know this already, but the movie has been seen by a lucky select few, not just those who said, I know a guy who saw the movie and they clearly didn't, and they write on Reddit, flights of fancy. No, the movie has been seen by credible film reviewers and social media pundits, and it's been overwhelmingly positive. Everyone's a shill. People have liked this movie. Who knew? But of course, if you look on places like X, amidst the glowing reviews, some of the worst reviews that are official have said they liked it, didn't love it. But then if you look hard enough, folks, you'll see a growing rise of reviews that are saying this is the worst film ever. It has got zero chemistry between the leads. It is a complete piece of garbage. It's the worst movie ever put to screen. Boycott this movie. It sucks. And yeah, you guessed it. They ain't seen the movie. My little parody at the beginning of this video. They've seen the Fantastic Four movie as much as I have at this point, Saturday, before the release, which is not. They've not seen the movie. I've not seen the movie. For all I know, it could be a big pile of garbage, but I highly doubt it because the types of people that have seen this movie, I was going to say Robert Meyer Burnett. He hasn't seen the movie, but a friend of his has, say McCampia, and also some of the other guys that I follow on social media who have seen the movie. I kind of position my taste to their taste. You know, when you got a friend who you really have the same type of movies in common, they go and see a movie and they say they really liked it. So you got a high probability, not 100%, but a high probability that you're going to like it too. And then you got that other friend who has the worst take as far as you're concerned on movies. The movies that they love, you hate. You love, they hate. So if they go and see a movie and they say it sucks, odds are, unless by fluke, you're going to really dig it. The same way if they think the movie is amazing, you're like, oh boy, I'll wait for it to come on Disney Plus or Netflix. Do you know what I'm saying? So even though you're the only person who can verify whether you like something or not, reviews, whether official or your mates, they matter because they give you a gauge whether you were going to spend that money and rush out to see that movie. So when you see these movies that are spreading all over X saying Fantastic Four is a hot trash piece of garbage, it turns out that these are fake reviews by none other than some of the dark cultist people on the internet known as Snyder Bros. Those cultist followers of Zack Snyder movies or Zack Snyder's DC. Now look, I liked Man of Steel. I really dug it. I'm a Christian, so I understood the whole metaphor of, rather than just a Moses figure, Zack Snyder was going for a Christ figure with his depiction of Kal-El, Clark Kent, Superman. I could see where it was going. The weight of the world's burdens. Jor-El sends his only son, his only begotten son, to Earth. Even scenes where he talks to a pastor in church. Yeah, it wasn't lost on me, a man of the cloth. A bit like Guy Gardner, huh? Get it? So when I actually thought about it, it was like, yeah, I can see where Snyder was going. I was with him with his cut of Justice League, which was far superior than the Joss Whedon pile of garbage. And I know all the studio shenanigans. So I was down for what Zack Snyder was serving to a point. I didn't agree. I wasn't a fan of Batman versus Superman because I felt the movie was dark. The whole appeal of the idea of Batman versus Superman is that Batman plays in the dark, Superman plays in the light, and that kind of contrast. But it was all murky and dark to begin with. Even Superman, I wanted Batman to punch him because he just seemed very self-righteous, stepping in the way, and he wasn't particularly that charismatic in the movie as moping about. But anyway, this is not a review of that movie. But I get where those who are fans of that version of DC were disappointed when Zavlov came in and said, snip, we're yeeting that vision and we're starting again a reboot with James Gunn. And I get that because I'm also a Star Wars fan. And you've got those who were very upset when Kathleen Kennedy yeeted the EU, or rather decided that with the new Star Wars movies, they were going to create new content rather than remake the expanded universe mythology that after Return of the Jedi. So I kind of get it and I kind of see it. But I'm like, movies are movies. Expanded universe. Comics have been around long before the movies in terms of DC. So to say that Snyder's variety of the DC universe is gospel is absolutely laughable. It was a version, a take, like another comic book team's writer and artist version of the characters that are decades old at this point. Superman's like 80 or something like that. So the idea that it was blasphemy that a new creative team was going to do a Superman movie is just like, ooh, cuckoo, crazy to me. So I was going to give James Gunn a chance. He won me over with his Guardians take at Marvel and other movies. So I went to see Superman and I really dug it. I liked James Gunn's depiction of Superman. I'm going to do a video where I talk about that specifically. But what I noticed was such venom against, for years now, James Gunn's Superman before it even came out. When it came out, large portions of the audience of the Snyder kind of cultists, not all Snyder fans, but the cultists, had it in for that movie before they saw one frame. And then they spin the narrative. See, it didn't make as much money as Man of Steel. But listen, a perfect example, Batman Begins. That was the first Batman movie on screen after the train wreck that we all agree that was Batman and Robin. You're not sending me to the cooler. Arnold Schwarzenegger at his finest. And that franchise was dead. The Batman on screen cinematic universe was dead. Batman Begins, I remember, I'm old enough that people were like, nah, leave Batman alone. Leave it alone. It's dead. That movie came out to great acclaim. Not huge box office, but guess what? The Dark Knight became a record breaker at the box office and an Oscar nom because all it needed to do was resuscitate Batman on screen for then a whole era of movies on the Batman to be back in business to this point where we're desperately chomping at the bit for Matt Reeves to finally bring a sequel to The Batman. Maybe this turn of the century. So I get the feeling of, I understand the sense of being disappointed that your take, your run, your favorite run of a character, because obviously when Nolan stopped doing Batman movies. There was cynicism when Batfleck came on the scene. People forget that people were against Snyder's vision for the DC when it was released. Now suddenly he is the messiah of DC that has been sacrificed, and his fans, his disciples, want him back. Whereas James Gunn, I think, has done a great job with Superman. But what's happened is that they went against Superman. But now maybe those Snyder cultists and maybe those who are actual fans of James Gunn's DC, but there is a portion of the fans of James Gunn's DC that hate the fact that Marvel are bringing out a Fantastic Four movie or just a Marvel movie. And they want to see that burn to the ground because that's a threat to their boy in blue. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I think you've got Snyder cultists and some James Gunn kind of fanboys who are going to come together, and they're trying to trash on Marvel and particularly the Fantastic Four. Now, here's the problem. If they were successful, if the Snyder cultists were successful, Superman tanking, that's goodbye. That's not a win for them because DC crumbling means there'll be no DC movies. And you'll just have to watch your Blu-ray or whatever, however you watch it, old movies of the Snyderverse. And if Marvel crumbles, that's not necessarily a win for DC, because one of the problems with Marvel are having is when DC has been bad, Marvel have not had any competition. And I believe that competition brings out the best in creatives. When you're looking over your shoulder, oh, they're doing really well, that makes you step up your pace and bring out your best content. When you've got no competition, you get lazy and laid back, and then any old rubbish comes out. And the audience, the mainstream, not us fanboys, the mainstream public don't differentiate between the DC and the Marvel. They're just like, oh, comic book movies are dead. Oh, that last comic book movie, that stunk. I'm not going to see another one. So if you think it's a win for Marvel to tank, then you're smoking something that should be illegal and banned in all countries. You're not on the sane train. You're on a crazy train, because the general public don't distinguish between your team colors versus the other side. They see you all as the same, pretty much. So in short, if the Snyder cultists win, if the combined forces won against Marvel's Fantastic Four this year, we all lose. Those of us who are fans of the genre lose, and the general cinema-going public lose. Because if the whole genre gets tarnished, guess what? No one's coming. It's going to be Batman and Robin in 1997 all over again until another few years we get a new hope come in and maybe restart the genre again. So that's my thoughts. I think it's ridiculous that you've got these fake Fantastic Four reviews coming out saying it's the worst thing ever. I also am tempered that you've got a ton of reviews saying it is fantastic, pun very much intended. And I agree that it's going to be a good movie. I like to kind of get the balance. I think the worst review said that it was good. They liked it, not loved it. But the sway of reviews by, these are people that are quite trusted in the industry, are saying it's really, really good. Should we be celebrating? I thought Superman was good. 2 comic book movies that are good versus like Craven or Morbius that sucked. We're in good business, folks. If you are a genuine fan of the genre and not just a grifter who wants to make content to get views saying how much you hate everything, you should be rejoicing. If you're just a general popcorn muncher fan of good cinematic storytelling, you too should be celebrating, because it looks like we're going to have a great summer at the theatres, the cinemas. So what do you think? Do you think I'm too optimistic? Do you think I'm reading the situation wrong? Or do you agree with me? Either way, let me know in the comments below. And if you thought this was a clickbaity video, you should have looked at the thumbnail. There were clues that I was being very tongue-in-cheek. Thanks for watching. See you next time.